Welcome to the Lori Davis Show, where it's all about the amazing lifestyle on our Treasure Coast. And here's your host and realtor for life, Lori Davis.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. We are so happy that you're here with us today. We're happy to be in our padded room. We just had a little conversation about how nice it is to do recordings when you just get into a studio and you close the doors and it's a padded room. Everybody here wants to be here. We're laughing, we're giggling, and they can't get us. So we're safe inside, but we're really glad you're here with us today, whether it's live stream, Facebook Live, or on Sunday afternoon, listening to us at 4 p.m. Listen, Lori Davis, you know I'm your realtor for life. I always talk about real estate. Selling real estate is not just about houses and condominiums. It's not about brick and mortar. It's really about lifestyle. And the reason why everybody's coming to Vero Beach and the reason why people love where we live is because we offer an amazing lifestyle. Our show is a little bit about both. It's about real estate, but it's also about lifestyle within your home. So a lot of us, and the question that I have to ask you as you're watching or listening on the radio is any party that you go to, and Cindy, I'm going to have you answer this because I haven't introduced my guest yet. Okay. What room in the house does everyone gather in?
It's always the kitchen.
It's always the kitchen.
It's always the kitchen.
It's right?
Yeah,
because that's where people, there's something about it. There's a communal, it's a familial, right. It just is. So I'm going to ask you, so it's the soul of the house. Yep. And it doesn't, your mom didn't have to be a great cook. It didn't matter. It's kind of where everybody got together, right?
Yeah, and the first thing most people ask is, what can I help you do?
Exactly.
Or where's the booze?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's out there. And then there are people that will say, don't help me in here. You know,
right.
I'm always like, grab a towel, help me out. Here's a knife, here's a cutting board or something like that. So do you have a particular kitchen memory from growing up that you want to share?
Oh, my kitchen memory?
Yeah.
Well, my best kitchen memory is when I remodeled my kitchen. I finally got it done.
That's always,
got
and
it the way I wanted it.
that speaks a little to our show, giveaway. Dennis talking about that today.
Yeah, that's what mine was. But my grandmother, my mom, my aunt, fabulous cooks. All my grandmothers, fabulous cooks.
Yeah.
So I love being in there with them.
Do you remember, like, was it holidays when everybody was in there? They were all bumping into each other?
You know what I remember the most is the barbecues. My grandmother had a high ranch house. You know how they had on Long Island, Jersey, those kind of things or whatever. And she had the deck outside the kitchen, which was on the second floor, right?
Yep.
And so she did it up and down those two with the steak and then the tongs and then the garlic and then the back and forth, and it was always it was a great.
And they made it look effortless, didn't they?
Yeah,
I mean, all of a sudden, boom, it's all on the table. It's all,
another beer,
the martini, whatever.
It's good
for sure.
I loved it.
What we're gonna do?
Like
we've got we're gonna introduce our guests because we want them as a part of this conversation because there's so many stories that we can all talk about. We have James and Jen Johnson. They are the owners of Island Breeze Kitchen here in Vero Beach, Florida. They've been on the show before. We have them here to talk about kitchen trends of 2023. But there's a lot of conversation about kitchen, so let's welcome Jen and James to the show.
Hello,
welcome.
Great to be here.
So glad to have you guys here. All right, so Jen, I'm going to start with you. Can I get a kitchen memory from you?
Yeah, it's the first house that I, as a young person, remember, and my dad had kicked out a wall of the kitchen. I must get it from that. And he put
your feeling of wanting to kick walls out.
Yeah. He was always renovating our houses, and this one kitchen that we had, of course, this was probably 1974, 75.
Yeah.
So there was that awesome metallic wallpaper that he put up. Yes. But then he also wallpapered our kitchen table. The same thing.
Oh my.
Yeah, he was an archetype redneck. and I mean that with total love. He's also been known to spray paint his sneakers.
Yes.
When the fashion changes.
Yeah.
So he's a very creative individual.
He is.
Creative individual.
And he's super smart. I mean, he really is. But he's just so creative. You know, it's like, wow.
Can't get out of his own way.
We got to come up with new things to do.
I love that.
So that's my favorite kitchen memory was from that kitchen.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. James, do you have one?
You know, I was born and raised in the Bahamas, right?
I know. That's why I couldn't wait to ask you this one.
And I'm trying to think back. It's funny when you guys talk about your families and being good cooks. my mother was not a good cook.
And that happens a
Yeah.
lot.
Those are hard.
There's a lot of that.
May she rest in peace. And it just
Yeah.
reminds me of, Rodney Dangerfield talking about his wife. And he says, she was such a bad cook. She served the kids alphabet soup and they spelled out help.
Right.
And it was kind of like what it felt like with my mom. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man, I mean, she would come up with these names for food, like Frontier Dinner, which like she took everything left over in the fridge, put it all in a casserole pan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It wasn't come and
Yes.
get it. It was try and eat it.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
So yeah, I don't, yeah. So,
Yeah. Now, what was the kitchen like in the Bahamas, though, when you were growing up?
So I think that was more a function of the timing, right? So
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
born in 1970.
Yep.
And so, I mean, they were very sectioned houses, right?
Okay,
The kitchen
yes.
was
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
small and it was
Yes.
all walled in and that
Yes.
sort of thing. So I don't really remember us having, you couldn't fit lots of people in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Whoever was working in there was
Yeah.
working, and that was it.
Now,
Yeah.
what I do remember, which is kind of interesting, again, being from the Bahamas, it's British, right?
Yes.
So when I was born in the Bahamas,
Yes.
it was under British rule. And so we're going to talk today about some of the trends that, we saw from Duval coming out of England. And you would see antiques incorporated into the kitchen,
Yes.
right? It wasn't just all cabinetry
Right.
and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. There were old pieces, old family pieces, and it
Wow.
was really interesting. So the
Yeah.
kitchen, it wasn't, now you see a kitchen that's almost like it's sleek, right?
Right,
I mean, everything
right.
is just so.
Every
everything has-
countertop is exactly
Yes.
the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here you'd have a tall boy, with glass fronts
Right.
and stuff like that, and,
Yes.
and the pictures and candlesticks. It's just
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
put
what I
you put a
remember.
sideboard in there, and that's your countertop,
Absolutely.
right? So there's a beautiful piece of
Yep.
furniture in there.
Yeah.
I was looking kitchen trends, and they called there's a big
A larder.
larder. Yes,
The
that
larder.
was one of the things I saw
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And they're saying that's very common,
Yep.
and that's what
Yep.
they used back then. And it was really a basic freestanding cabinet that was your pantry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Instead of a refrigerator,
Right.
it kind of worked as a refrigerator
did.
for certain items.
Chilled,
and,
yes. Yeah.
and that is coming back huge right
Yeah.
now.
Was larder on your list?
Yes.
Oh,
Larder
that's
is
so
on my
exciting. I
list.
got something. Yay!
Yay.
I got larder.
You win the free
ding,
drink.
Ding, ding.
You
I
win
know.
a
I
free
got a free.
cocktail.
It's coming. The cocktail's coming. The cocktail's coming.
There you go.
That's fantastic. That's
Isn't it
fantastic.
kind of French too that they did that?
The larder?
Yeah.
Well, I
larder
mean,
is
with
a
the
French
different
word.
furniture pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, more of those
Yeah.
antique things. And the other
Yeah.
thing I think that's sort of related to that is how we use space too. And you saw
Yeah.
them in some of the older things. So one of the rooms that's coming back that's really an antique type of concept. It's a keeping room.
Okay.
Right.
It's where you have
Yeah.
almost like a sitting room with couches
In the
right off
kitchen.
in the
Okay.
kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, and that was an old thing too.
Yeah.
Right. And people just kind of chilled out, and it wasn't just occasional chairs; it's
Right.
couches. There,
Yeah.
so
I
you could
like
have
that,
you could have
though.
huge
Yeah.
drinks and pass out. I mean, right there.
Well, but you could be talking to people because the actual kitchen area was small.
Yeah.
So you could be visiting with someone who was working
Yeah. Yep.
and sitting there, which is why I have those
Right.
2 chairs in my kitchen,
Yes.
as opposed to that dining table because I want to, but it should be more comfy than that or whatever. But
We'll fix that.
Okay, I know you will. I'm so excited. I'm so
Well,
excited.
and I think what's interesting is, we went from these kitchens being very closed off and almost an afterthought in many
Yeah.
houses to then coming up with this very wide open concept.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see kind of a happy medium.
I agree.
It's like it's not all wide open. You still want to have your living room and family room separate,
Yeah.
but still have a kitchen big enough where people can still come in. But it's just not the whole house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know.
modified open concept.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right, because
Correct.
you still you needed space to actually have cabinetry.
Yes.
And you also wanted to have a little bit of separation. So, like, for those of us that actually do cook, right?
Yeah.
We've got a 48-inch gas range, and everything gets cooked on that, right?
Right.
Steak, fish, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. And I mean, and if you're just piping that throughout the entire house, we've got a great, commercial hood
Yeah.
that's pulling most of it out,
Right.
but still, you're going to get that.
Yes.
And so now it's interesting that it morphs by how we actually live.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, it's
So
definitely.
everybody wanted open concepts, and we still want open concepts, but now we're realizing not necessarily just
Wide open.
wide open.
Right.
Yeah.
and
There's
so
a lot of racket that goes on in the kitchen.
a lot of racket.
I mean,
yeah.
there, if you're watching TV and whatever, I mean, that was, we were talking about that again. James and Jen came to my house. They're going to do some work in my house. We're going to do a before and after shot too.
Yeah.
So maybe when you come back next month, we'll have something. Anyway, But there's a space where my kitchen sink is, and it's like if I was to take that counter down to the new standard, which is the 36 or whatever that counter height is, I'm going to splash somebody in the face because that's right where my sink is.
Right.
I can't. It's functionally not going to work.
Exactly.
And that room is very open, so we want to have some type of a barrier there.
It's not a one size fits all. You know, you really have to go by.
And that's why I think creativity is such a huge part, and that's what Jen and I always say. Right? It's you have to be able to have vision.
Yes.
Come in, see your house, and not just see the physical space and the bones, but how you live.
How you live,
Right.
That's really
how
important.
How are you going to use this? What is your kids come home? Do they do their homework at the bar? Right. And so now, I mean, one of the things I know Jen wants to mention, if I may, is
I stole larder. You can steal
exactly right.
I'm just here to look pretty. Come on.
Well,
Exactly.
listen, you know that's
Fluff piece.
you know that's not my role, right? That's what I say. Look, I know I'm bold and scary. On my best days, I'm a solid 4. I get that. All right.
Stop it.
Sorry.
No.
All right. I'm sorry. What were we talking about? Oh, kitchens, right?
Yes.
No, but the islands.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked last time, I think, a little bit about the way islands are kind of being incorporated into dining room tables and stuff. But that incorporation is even going next level yet, right? Okay. So you may even have different levels within this island. Part of it's a kitchen. Part of it's your kind of functions as a dining room table.
Right.
Sometimes you've got your wine bottles underneath. Sometimes you've got cookbooks and stuff, but we're really getting creative with how we're using space. In fact, we're doing one right now up on in Sebastian. It's actually northern part of Vero, but it's on the river.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's going to be beautiful.
Well, it's super cool, but there's so many different angles and different things because we had to get creative about how we were using the space.
Right.
Right. And what's interesting is the lady who we absolutely love and her husband.
It's our second kitchen that we've done for them.
For them.
I love it. Yeah.
For them.
Yeah.
And different house. It would be terrible if you did one of that sucked. Let's try that again. Boom.
Start over. Next.
No, but they're both taller, right? And so now we actually raised everything up by a few inches.
Yeah.
Right? It's really interesting because that, the more you're bending over, you're going to feel that in your lower back.
Sure.
So everything matters.
So instead of a standard countertop height, which includes the stone 36 inches, theirs is going to be 38 inches.
Right.
Yeah.
And it actually looks stunning.
It's
right.
really,
it
really
is
cool.
so beautiful.
And you wonder how many people will really notice when they go to sell it. If it's going to be that big. It's probably not that big a difference.
Well, it's not. But the thing is, it's one thing if you just have in your mind, it's taller. It's only supposed to be 36 inches. But when you go in there, it actually
feels
really
right.
good.
It feels good. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really
Maybe
nice.
mine should be 38. You know what I'm saying? Like I should be living at 38.
That's exactly.
Who made up 36? Like, right?
That's exactly what Jen and I said. We actually said, next time we do a kitchen for ourselves in our house, we might actually raise it up.
Interesting.
It's nice.
It just changes the way you feel.
And then we're also working with another client. We're getting ready to, who she is fabulous, very eclectic, very, very creative, and she has this beautiful hutch from her husband's family from Holland.
No, from Norway.
And it's a beautiful, 2-tiered hutch.
Right.
And we're taking it apart and incorporating the pieces of that hutch. One in the island, one in this wall of cabinets. And people are just really wanting to do that, and it's awesome.
And so funny enough, when we got together with her, and we spent a ton of time because that's creativity just takes time, right? You gotta think about it and try this and try that, and it's really interesting because the idea of incorporating this piece into the kitchen was hers at first, right? And we do this kind of stuff. We love it. We have been pressing toward adding in antiques in just different ways, even if we paint that antique or just there's all kinds of things you can do. Yeah. But she just kind of had this idea, which we love. We love creative clients too.
Yes.
Get involved. Tell me what you see, and so to have this 100-year-old, 120-year-old,
that's amazing.
piece, that's been in their family.
Make sure you take a picture of that.
Oh man,
we'll take
so
pictures.
Cool.
JPEG, Cindy. What do we need?
Yep.
JPEGs. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So when we do this again, you'll just we'll pop up pictures of things.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
See, for us, we say the process should be awesome.
Yeah.
Right. You don't just want a beautiful kitchen; you want a beautiful process.
Yeah.
Right. So get creative. I mean, this is your space.
Fun with it.
And now again, trending wise, interesting colors coming back, and not harvest gold or the avocado green from the 70s. Those can stay.
Thank you.
But a bit of the boldness though, and I still with a sense that you want some neutral things to ground everything.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the creativity, especially with backsplashes and stuff like that, no longer
because
just...
you can't go wrong with natural. Like if you have wood, if you have stone, backsplashes. I mean, those things are timeless in my opinion.
Yeah.
The splashes of color we can do there, here and there, with different accessories and stuff, but white kitchens will always be popular.
Of course.
The most popular. But one of the trends that we're seeing also this year is the more warmer whites.
Yep.
Yes.
But not
Absolutely.
like antique or creamy, but it's hard to describe. There's just
it's just not stark white.
It's not stark
I see that
white.
in my business
Yeah.
for sure.
It's ivory, it's
Yes.
alabaster and stuff
Yes.
like that. And it's
Yeah.
so interesting because,
There's so many different whites.
Million different whites.
So I tell
I want a
people.
white kitchen. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And here's your 12 choices.
Yes, right. Here's your 80 choices.
Right,
There
that's
really
crazy.
are. There's so many.
Right. Let's do one thing real quick.
Yeah.
We have to introduce our cocktail so you can drink your cocktail too because you
Thank
need a
you.
sip.
I do.
All right. Thank you. Citrus Grill House always gives us a
Thank you,
beverage
Citrus
for
Grill.
today. This is called a transfusion. God bless. It's vodka with ginger beer and cranberry juice. We've made one that's a mocktail, and then the other one has an orange. James is owning that one.
Yeah.
And then Jen and I said, forget that.
Yeah.
We went with the orange flavored vodka, and it's really really nice.
delicious.
It's very bubbly, and it's fresh, and it's delicious. So thank you, Citrus Grill House,
Thank you.
1050 Easter Lily Lane, right there in the ocean at Humiston Park.
Jen says I misbehaved too much.
Okay.
You drink liquor.
Oh, well, that's okay. Just not on the show.
That's right.
No, but anyway, they're open Monday to Saturday. They do lunch and dinner. Go over there and see them. Thank you, Chef Scott Verricchio, for the beverage. And go over and see them. Great chef, great food. If it's not fresh, they don't serve it. So thank you very much for the beverage.
Delicious.
It is good,
delicious.
right?
Great spot.
I mean,
And I
let's
love
look it
the
up.
view. I love sitting out there on the
Don't
back.
you?
Oh my goodness,
I
it's
know.
so beautiful.
For lunch, when you
spot.
can see the ocean, or even at nighttime,
Oh,
it's gorgeous.
it's gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, kitchen trends for 2023, Jen. Tell me what you got.
Well, there's some really fun things happening in kitchen trends, and I love to say that I started it all.
Maybe you did.
That's right.
But one
Vero
of the,
Beach, the epicenter of new kitchen trends.
but it was funny as I was reading them. I saw one of the trends were curved cabinets, and I a couple of years ago did a galley style kitchen, which, as you know, are very narrow,
Yes.
very small.
Yes.
And I thought, why not do radius curved, inverted radius, and just made the whole place look softer.
Yes.
And
Wonderful.
that
Yeah.
is really a big
Really
trend, and especially with islands, as we were talking about the different types of
Definitely.
islands, where you can have your rectangular part and then it rounds out to like a table where you can put
Sure.
for people sitting around. So
Yeah.
that is really a lot of fun, and that really gives us as designers, fun things to present to clients who were like, "Oh my goodness, I never even would have
Hadn't even
thought of that." Yeah.
Yeah.
her-
Everything is square and
actually,
angled.
I wish we could actually show you pictures of that one because the radius
You're going
was
to.
so cool. I mean, it just was really cool.
It was on the island, and it was a pretty blue, and it kind of looked like a wave.
Yeah.
We just had it
Striking.
go. It was
Yeah, it was
really,
fantastic.
it was fun.
That's awesome.
But
Can we do a quick commercial and then we'll come back
Yeah.
and wrap it up with your trends?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
got 'em? Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this. We're going to do a commercial. We'll be right back with Jen and James from Island Breeze Kitchen. See you in a minute.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Create your restful retreat and save 50% now on all Tommy Bahama and Lexington Home during our winter sale and President's Day event now through February 28th at Sunshine Furniture. Sophisticated looks with a mix of contemporary, coastal, and Caribbean styles, Tommy Bahama Home offers everything you need for your personal paradise. At Sunshine Furniture, we have the largest selection of in-stock coastal and casual sofas, love seats, chairs, slipcover sofas, bedroom, dining, and occasional furniture from Four Seasons, Capri, Best, Barcalounger, Hooker, Universal, and more. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have anything you need for your patio or lanai, including a gallery of Lloyd Flanders, Berlin Garden, Woodard, Hollywood, Brown Jordan, Windward, and Kingsley Bates. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in Vero Beach next to Planet Fitness. Family owned and operated since 1991. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com and don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store directly across the street.
Sunshine Furniture.
Hello. Welcome back to the show. We're passing right over the real estate part of this because to have Jen and James in the house, and it's such great information. Tell us a little bit about, you wanted to talk about
a fun project that we've been working on.
It's amazing, and it means so much to Vero Beach.
It does. It was kind of under wraps for a while, but when Miss Wonderful Alma Lee Loy passed away, and then a few months later, her house came up for sale, and I told James, we've got to save this house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of in a multi-zone place, and I didn't want, anyway, long story short, we've spent the last year and a half remodeling it, and it's just about done. And the Vero Beach Magazine is doing an article. It'll be in next month's magazine, March issue. So we're very, very excited about that. She was such an amazing woman. She lived in an amazing house. It's beautiful. The bones were great, and we've just had a ball.
And even more than just the bones. I mean, the trim. There was just
the craftsmanship that went into these houses.
Yes.
What year was that built?
37.
Right. So we're going to have you guys on next month to talk about that.
Yeah,
so
love to.
Now, James, there was some things you wanted to cover before we go.
So just to finish up with the Alma Lee Loy thing is, we would love to not only show pictures, but we may end up doing a couple of open houses because of Jen's dear friends that moved from Colorado to kind of partner with us, because you kind of need to see it.
Talk about it on the radio.
Well, you need to see it. I mean, there's pictures are fantastic. There's nothing like going in and seeing. I mean, we laced in the original hardwood floors, so they're 100-year-old floors that were beautiful,
gorgeous,
so gorgeous. And they had to, and actually Alma lived some of the time in the garage apartment in the back. So it was only 325 square feet, but it's just gorgeous, super cool. Look forward to sharing it with you. Okay,
great.
Kitchen trends, a couple other things that I think are really important. We are seeing a lot more in the way of woods, right? And I think for a lot of people, they got scared off of them because you think of the Formica wood back in the 70s, and they looked greasy, right?
It's like all the, just...
the old oak look. They were great cabinets.
Yeah, strong.
But it was just...
So, I mean, and so like right now, we've got hickory, that rustic hickory that we're doing right now. We actually have it in our house too. Rustic hickory, and this one up on the river in North Vero. It is wonderful.
Yeah,
and the rustic part, you can actually put your hand in it. You feel knots, you feel these gnarls, and they love it because
it's real. And when you pair
real.
it with other cabinets that are painted, it works. It works so well. It blends so well.
Where do you get these? Is this from your cabinet company?
It's from Crystal.
Crystal
Cabinets.
Okay.
So,
out of Minnesota.
Right? Out of Minnesota.
That's right. So, and she's saying we got to go. But so one other thing I think one other thing I think that's it's super important now. Touching on the whole creativity thing, you're seeing multi types of stone and other woods in countertops, right? So you can actually have marble, and next to it a beautiful piece of wood, could even be live edge, and we're mixing them and mitering them together, which is really, really interesting, because you may want something like marble that is durable and strong, and you can pound on it and all that kind of stuff. But when you're actually eating, when you put your elbows down, wood is wonderful.
Right?
It's really nice.
It's a natural product.
Yes.
Even not that marble isn't natural, but
it's different. Marble is cold.
It feels warm.
Wood is warm, right? And so we're putting those together in really cool, creative ways, and it's I don't know, it does something to you. That's all I can tell you.
And my question was, in one of the countertop, one of the trends was Butcher Block.
Yes.
And I was like, but I'm worried about it being clean, like to keep it cleaned up. I don't know.
And it is harder. There's no question. I mean, there's Butcher Block in particular. If you have it on the kind of part of the counter where you may be chopping and stuff like that, look, it works. You use a food grade oil to get that slicked out and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it is harder to keep clean and keep up with. I would recommend using the wood part where you're more going to be doing your homework, putting your elbows, eating your food.
Eating.
Very good.
All that fun.
How are they going to find you? What's your phone number? Where are they going to call you?
772-783-4466.
If you guys can't find them, call Lori Davis. You know me. You can find me at Dale Sorensen Real Estate. You can find me on the internet. Thank you, Jen and James,
Thank you,
for being.
Lori.
Thank you guys so much for coming to the show. We're going to do this again. We're going to see you guys soon. Have a great day. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Love it.